Navidad. Navidad.
Ey, espérate.
Navidad.
Di que llegó Navidad tan rápido.
Navidad.
Yo ni he pagado la cuenta de los regalos del otro año. Coñazazazo. Cállate, déjame hablar. Esta Navidad no me habla de regalo. Mi cuenta está en cero y me está llevando el diablo. No me busca di que preguntándome pa' chavo. Yo sufro de pelado y eso todos los fucking años.
Si tú ves a Santa Claus, dile que lo te...
1, 2, is this thing on? Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Chris Hierro, songwriter, producer, artist, Dominican, New Yorker, dad. It's this time of the year again. You know what that means. The flu, baby. Yo me estoy muriendo de una gripe ahora mismo. Pero, vamos a hacer el video. I couldn't pass up an opportunity like this. It's Christmas time, and I can't believe I've never done a breakdown of my production for the great Radel Ortiz, Esta Navidad. And today, on this glorious day where we gather with our family, friends, loved ones, and give each other tokens of our appreciation and love for them, I thought it would be perfect to break down this wonderful Christmas classic for all of you guys. And from my humble home studio, Iron Man Productions, join me as I dissect the wonderful, sweet sounds of this Dembow classic by the great Radel Ortiz. Please, come in, join me.
Santa Claus! Mira Santa Claus! Tú idiota!
If you don't know who Radel Ortiz is, then you must have been living under a rock for the last couple years, because this guy's been killing it on social media with his videos, hilarious videos of him, his hijinks in New York with his mom and his family and all his crazy ideas and his loud mouth. He's a hilarious dude, and he's a great guy actually. I got to meet him a while back in 2021 we did this. Thanks to my good friend Arturo Martinez, Tito, big hug for him. He's the one that put us together, and he said, yo, I think you could do something really cool with Radel. Radel has a lot of cool musical ideas, and I was like, really? Interesting. He came over, and we worked on this song. Originally, we didn't know what we were gonna make. We knew it was gonna be a Christmas song. But it turned out to be a Dembow. Now, if you don't know what Dembow is and you've been living under a rock, I Googled it so that you don't have to. Dominican Dembow, also known as simply Dembow, is a style of music originating from the Dominican Republic, which has been mostly described as a subgenre or derivative form of reggaeton, which evolved from dancehall. Anyway, you get it. And that's why I say that this song is kind of a Dembow style Christmas song. But I wouldn't say that it's necessarily a Dembow because I'm not necessarily a Dembow producer, but I am Dominican. So I want to bring you into the session so that you can hear what we did. Before we get too much into the nitty gritty, I just kind of want to get into the session and show you one of the main sounds of this song. And I want you to hear how it was in the original version, and then I'm gonna play you the final version that's out. Listen to the kick sound.
Tú ves a Santa Claus, dile que lo estoy buscando. La gastadera to...
That sound, the final version.
Tú ves a Santa Claus, dile que lo estoy buscando. La gastadera todos los años, eso a mí me está matando.
Yeah, this one goes whoa, 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 whoa. Slightly different, same vibe. That kick is one of the most used kicks ever in the history of reggaeton. I know because I got that from some of my producer friends who do a lot of reggaeton. But the fact of the matter is that when that sound goes through and, when you test it for samples, it jumps out right away. It's a recognizable sample. This is why you had these huge lawsuits happen with a bunch of reggaeton artists, because the original producers of that Dembow beat were like, oh no, you're gonna have to pay us. That kick was kind of giving us all the top end. The low end was being provided by this kick, which is another kick that was in that same group of samples that I got originally from my reggaeton friends. But I don't know why, when we first sent out the first mix, there was something that wasn't allowing them to register the song. It was like, this contains a sample, and then that's when Arturo called me, Radel's manager, he called me, he was like, yo, this thing has a sample in it, you use a sample? I was like, not really, I mean, I use drum samples. He was like, well, check out which one it is and see if you could do something and send it back to me. I decided going through all the sounds, and I heard that sound that had like a vocal in it. That has a clear vocal in it, but that is a lot of the character. When you put that together with this, that gives us that Dembow vibe. So what I did was that I went in myself and I made my own kick, which is a combination of sounds. This, that's my voice. into the microphone, just going poof. So I knew it had to have that tone, that note. So I just put that note in there, even though at the end of the day you hear it and it's so not the same thing, but did that, and then I grabbed some kick that I had and I added some, top end, filtered out all the low end, and then you combine that together. And that ended up being that combined with this. It's cool because I was able to take out a lot of that top end, that kind of like hi-hatty top end that the original sample had, actually blended together even better because I have my own hi-hat that I added in later, which is here. It was as soon as I changed that kick sound and I sent it in, Arturo gave me the thumbs up and he was like, all right, we're good. Which I was very happy. That's one of the kicks. There's another kick here called Classic, which I'm also using. Very cool sound. So there's basically 3 kicks in combination. That one, the trueno, and the vocal kick. Oh, and then there's this other one. There's a 4th one that comes in here. That is just like a super nasty sound. I mean, that's the thing with Dembow. Like, Dembow is insanely loud, insanely distorted and mangled. And so in this part right here,
Esta Navidad, te voy a dar un consejo. Pásame la juca y métete te dejo. Navidad.
that's that moment. And that, I remember that we added a different snare for that part, a guira. There it is. With a pitch plug-in on it. This is how it sounds without it. So it's pitching it up a little bit, but not only is it pitching it, it's driving it. So it's making it sound dirtier and more gritty, which is awesome for Dembow. And a transient shaper, boosting the punch and cutting out all the sustain. This is what it sounds without it. You can hear when the guy puts the peine to the guira, the comb to the guira, the bristles. And then when he goes down, and I kind of wanted to like dry all that up a little bit. So without, with. Then there's these sounds called jingle bells, which are kind of more subliminal sounds, but these sounds are absolutely making us feel the Christmas vibes. Come on. Those are the jingle sounds. Those are the sounds that make us feel like 'tis the season. Those are going throughout. Then there's this moment. This song has these awesome peaks and valleys, you know what I mean? Like it gets really hype and then it comes right back down and it comes back up, and it's towards the end, it's just kind of one big buildup that you think might be building up towards the beat dropping again, but the beat never drops. At this moment right here, minute 112, the song drops and never really comes back to its full intensity. But that's fine because Dembow does that too, but it's not only just because of the Dembow, mostly because of Radel, because the song is a comedy song. It's all about Radel. It's all about him and his characters and his whole thing. So at this point of the song is when Santa Claus comes into the song and he starts having a heated discussion with him, heated argument with Saint Nick. And so we have that, and then we have these sub drops. Those you're only really going to be able to appreciate if you're wearing headphones or if you're in like some nice big speakers. And in the big speakers, you really feel it's like So there you go. So yeah, so that whole part up until this moment is like the intro of the song. And then now is when the beat finally drops and we get the bass coming in, which is this bass. This bass line style is very, very typical to Dembow. And whenever I try to imagine Dembow, I can imagine like this pattern on the bass. You know what I mean? It just takes the whole thing right to Dembow City. And of course, those chord changes are giving me like I never really thought consciously that I was gonna rip off Silver Bells actually, even more, which is, I don't know if those are the same song. Silver Bells? Silver Bells, I guess it is. Oh, so I used Keyscape to make that melody. Those chord changes, of course, are like, they give Christmas. And I know that when Radel told me, he was like, yo, I want to make a Christmas song. I was like, okay, I got to go for something that's like super on the nose. I needed to take us to Christmas vibes like quick because he was sitting right back here on the couch. So I opened up Keyscape. Keyscape is an amazing plugin. It's my favorite plugin for anything related to keys, pianos. This is the plugin for that. I opened it up and I guess I landed on this Celeste sound, dry. And then this counter melody comes in. That second melody serves as the perfect kind of ladder and riser into the next part, which is what you want to be doing with these kind of beats, because it's like the beat, you know, is going to be driving almost in the same way, but what you need is something towards the end of it to lift us up and then take us into the next section. That's when we have the kick and the drums kind of get bigger there, you know? That's when Radel does his intro verse. I want to show you the rest of these keys before we move on. When that comes in and the way that it's playing, it's giving me more bachata vibes. But that's the dope thing about Dembow, because, you know, since it's Dominican music, they really do use things from bachata and merengue, and they kind of combine them all together. That, if you could believe it, is all the harmony that the song has outside of vocals, which get a little involved towards the end. There's just one more sound, and this sound I freaking love. I knew I needed something crazy because that's another thing about Dembow. Dembow has some like wild sounds. And it's dope because at this moment, the melody leaves. The bells are gone. There's no bells there. It's just the bass and the drums. It comes in to fill that gap in between his melodies. So, and then what I did was, for the second time around, I did it one octave lower. Got that, we got the bass, and that's everything, y'all. That's all the sounds that this song doesn't have anything else. Other than I think I have like some noise swells here and there that help kind of, you know, drive us into the different sections. That's that. That's what it's all about, I think, with the Dembow thing. It's just like you gotta have like and the same thing happens with reggaeton. It's like this like push and pull that you need to have. If not, it feels too static. That's why you usually have in reggaeton music or Dembow, two kicks going on. In recent times, it's become a lot more acceptable to have just one kick, but I realized that for that real authentic, more classic reggaeton sound, you want two kicks because you want one to feel like it just makes it walk a little more. I love that sound. That was just like I took a snare fill. Something tells me it's this one. That thing is awesome. That snare, which is our same snare that we've been using the whole time, right? I just put a filter on it. This filter freak doing a sweep. Automated in. And the same thing with this pitch plugin by Waves, and the rest is being done by this other Waves plugin, the Brower Motion, which is a panner. Not only is it going up in pitch as it's going along, it's filtering up open, and it's panning. Freaking fire, and that serves as a cool transition. Every once in a while, you know, you gotta throw in your little change ups. That's when it really kicks into high gear, right? And that, why is that? Because right there in the song, right? That's when he goes into his super hyper mode. The vocals are everything. The vocals are the whole point to this. Anyway, so let me show you what the song is doing there in that kind of build.
Esta Navidad te voy a dar un consejo. No me hables regalo, háblame de teteo. Esta Navidad te voy a dar un consejo. Pásame la juca y métete teteo.
I want to get into the vocals a little bit with you because this part right here is actually what started it all. Like, Everything started with this sound right here. These are some of the first tracks that were ever recorded. And that was done actually with the SM7B, the one that you see everybody. This freaking mic right here, this thing. This was the mic that Radel recorded on. I don't know if it was this one because this is my wife's mic. And if she found out that I let anyone else put their mouth on it, she would kill me. So I didn't do that. I gave him mine, which is right over there. Because, you know, that vocal wasn't even supposed to be an actual final vocal. I told him, I said, yo, do this kind of like a scratch. Don't put too much seriousness to it. And then once we finish this, then maybe we could have another session where I could put you in the booth and you could record with the condenser mic, with the right mic. This shit stayed just like this. The vibe was so great. And it broke up in just the right moment. You could hear all the distortion that happened. It's perfect. And it's exactly what you need to have. If you watch Radel's Instagram videos, they have this rawness to them. And he's always screaming in them. And the mic distorts always in those videos. But it's like the perfect thing. Without that distortion, it's not right. So that's the cool thing about this, that we actually got to capture that special character that he has. So let's check out these tracks and see what he did here.
Hey. Hello. Wey. Yeah, let me know. Esta Navidad no me habla de regalo. Mi cuenta está en cero. Me está llevando el diablo. No me busca en diciembre. Alright.
The fact of the matter is that this is the magic, because what I did was I grabbed that Navidad.
Esta Navidad no me habla de regalo.
I just grabbed it.
Navidad.
I brought it over here to a different channel, changed the pitch of it, tuned it perfectly, put it in time, and it sounds like this.
Navidad. Navidad. No. Navidad. Navidad. Navidad.
I doubled it, changed the notes on this second one. Same thing, but different notes.
Navidad. 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 Navidad.
Oh, I wanted to get the juices flowing, you know. We needed some sort of an intro too, because it was just kind of like the beat was there with the music, and it was like, nah, let's have like a little something, like a chant going on, you know, to start kind of setting us off.
Navidad. Navidad. No. Navidad.
And that, no, I have no idea why that's there. I guess by accident it went there and it felt good. And I was like, which is also kind of like a very Dembow thing, right? Dembow is all about chopping and screwing. Like if you listen to those big records by like, you know, El Alfa and those guys, like they're taking phrases, they're chopping them up, they're putting them in different places, cutting out. You could hear like how manipulated it is. And that gives you that real authentic Dembow vibe. Anyway, that's how we got those things happening. Here, look, this one vocal here.
Dios te dio la vida y ya eso es tu regalo.
Natural.
¿De qué te estás quejando?
¿De qué te estás quejando? That's all natural voice, right? And then what I did was I made them double it. And then on the double track, I completely messed with the pitch. I brought it all the way up.
Dios te dio la vida y ya eso es tu regalo. ¿De qué te estás quejando? Tengo un galón.
Just, you know, helps add some texture to that.
Esta Navidad te voy a dar un consejo. No me hables regalo, háblame de teteo.
So that was Elvin's idea. Radel's cousin. I remember clearly because he was here and he was, you know, they were writing all this stuff together. I'm going to mute Radel's vocal. I'm going to just show you the background parts.
Esta Navidad te
And that melody.
Esta Navidad te voy a dar.
That's Radel. I told him, bro, just do it. Do it like if you had like a high-pitched voice. Okay.
Esta Navidad te voy a dar un consejo. No me hablas regalo, háblame de teteo. Esta Navidad, consejo. Pásame la juca y métete el dedo.
It's just like so freaking hilarious. And you know, we were just having fun.
Esta Navidad te voy a dar un consejo. No me hables regalo, háblame de teteo. Esta Navidad te voy a dar.
That's me.
Navidad te voy a dar un consejo. No me hables regalo, háblame de teteo.
Y aquí está, yo creo que está Elvin.
Esta Navidad no te voy a dar un consejo. No me hablas regalo.
He's like, bro, why are you playing this right now? No, pero para que la gente oiga toda la voz, porque that's a cool thing, right? Like that combination of different colors of voices is what makes it.
Esta Navidad te voy a dar un consejo. Pásame la juca y métete te dejo.
It's just like, and we left all of it. We left all of that. I'm going to leave Santa for later, but we left all of that stuff. Oh, yes, sir. All that stayed in there. The last vocal thing that we have here is Santa Claus. Santa Claus is done by Radel Ortiz himself. And I was like, how are we gonna make it sound like Santa Claus? In comes Raum. Raum is a super dope reverb sound, and it has, look, it has a little snowflake on it. Perfect for this song and for this situation. So check what this does.
Ho, ho, ho! Ho, ho! Ho! Oh!
It just serves as this like more humor, right? More like mocking voices just to come into the whole thing right at the very end. And it's cool because that's the very same melody. Some of you already noticed that was being done by the bell before. So yeah, just make sure to get one really good one. I think it's me on all of them, maybe not. So 2 of them, but then I put these effects on them. This formant shifter, which isn't necessarily a pitch shift. It actually makes it all sound like almost like an elf. If I move the pitch up, then you'll hear it. I decided not to do that. It would have been overkill. I think just with that alone, it did the trick. And then we added the regular voices on top. Doubled it again, so I wanted it to sound like a nice little choir. That just put us over the top with the freaking Christmas vibes. Like Radel says, he says, man, that's what made me feel the Christmas cheer. He said, This is obviously the production and recording session that we did for this song. But this is what they took with them that night. It was like, yo, this is fire. We love this. We're happy. So the mix for this couldn't really go too far. It couldn't really stray too far from this. So I didn't really do much. All I did was make sure that, that the drums were knocking and that his voice was front and center. And there you have it, yo. That's freaking Esta Navidad by Radel Ortiz. Now, forever, that's going to be a Christmas classic in my home, and I know in the homes of many people. It's maybe not suitable for young children, but it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. I hope you guys are having an amazing, amazing Christmas and a very, very, very happy New Year. Oh yeah, and if you like the t-shirts, this t-shirt right here that I've been wearing and that I was packing to give as gifts to some of my family members. If you like them, let me know in the comments. This is a t-shirt commemorating my father, my awesome dad, Hierro. Yeah, it's an awesome way to remember him, and he's a freaking legend, and he's gonna live on forever. And so I feel like this t-shirt is an awesome way to commemorate him because, he never really had these cool kind of like merch, Hierro merch really never existed like this. So I don't know, I designed it myself. Let me know if you like it, if we should put them for sale, because right now this is one of 2. If you're feeling those vibes, let me know in the comments, and maybe we'll put them out for sale. All right, the beginning of next year. Oh, this got blurry. That means that the video is going too long. Thank you guys for watching. See you in the next one. Peace.
Ey, espérate. Dije que llegó Navidad tan rápido. Yo ni he pagado la cuenta de los regalos del otro año. Coñazazazo, cállate, déjame hablar. Esta Navidad no me habla de regalo. Mi cuenta está en 0 y me está llevando el diablo. No me busca di que preguntándome pa' chavo. Yo sufro de pelado y eso todos los fucking años.
Si tú ves a Santa Claus, dile que lo